Okay, part of what makes today a difficult lesson is there's no kind of just plug something into a formula and make it work out, which is sometimes how math goes. This has to do with application, so realize this is a difficult part. Some people say, when are we going to use this in the real world? When we actually show you how you're going to use it in the real world, that's usually more difficult than it is, when we just don't apply it, right? And so it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to know when you're going to use it, but then you see where you're going to use it, and you're like, okay, that's really difficult. So hopefully it'll go well, but we'll see. Raise your hand if you've ever used a compass before. Okay, so a compass is like this. This is a really cheap one. I think this was $1.27. And so which direction does the needle always point? Points north. Right now it's pointing that way. Okay, I don't even need the mic. I'm going to turn you guys off for a while because you're not going to see what I'm doing. So here's what I do. Everything can be figured out from triangulation. So I've got this triangle written down. I've got A, B, and C. It says that angle A is 110 degrees. It says that angle B is 28 degrees. It says that angle C is 42 degrees. And here's what I try to do. I try to give myself a bearing from each spot. So if I'm at C, north is straight up this way, okay? And then this would be straight east from that spot. This would be south. Straight west. So I try to give myself some extra triangles, and this is going to help me be able to figure out some of my missing pieces. Notice it says that C is directly west of A. So C sits directly west. So straight line right across that westerly line. So let's figure out the rest of these angles. If this is 110, what's this angle right here? 70. This makes a triangle. 70, 90, and 20. This makes a 90-degree triangle. I got 20, 28, and 42. 42, 90, and 48. And that 42 then make 90. See how I figured out my angles? Got it. For teaching purposes, I draw this. I encourage you to do this if you experience some trouble. I actually have a number of students who actually cut little compasses out of their paper and place them on their test as they're working through these type of problems. So if you want to do that, don't feel like you're abnormal. I would say that that's, pretty much just okay. North, east, south, west. I have the advantage of having a smartboard, so I can simply move this around. Okay? Where would you like to start? A, B, or C? Let's start at A. So I'm standing at A. So I move my compass to A. All right? Let's go from A to B. All right? If I'm going to go from A to B, I'm going to be traveling northeast, correct? So if I'm traveling northeast, that's north is how many degrees? 0, and east is, so I'm going to be traveling somewhere between 0 and 90. Any idea? Very good, 20. This line right here would be at a 20-degree angle from north. Because, look at this one, this is 70. So 70 degrees back of 90. So when you measure angles, you travel in a clockwise fashion around a compass. Clockwise fashion around a compass. So when I go east and I go counterclockwise to this line 70 degrees, it'll be 90 minus 70 will bring me to a 20-degree bearing. So that's correct. A to B is 20 degrees. Now, if you wanted to fill this in right here and call that angle 20 degrees because you figured that out, that's absolutely fine. Okay. There's a secondary way we write it, though. This is kind of standard way, and there's a directional way to write it. we travel north, east. North or south always goes out front. East or west always goes in back. The angle in the middle is between 0 and 90. Starting at north, how many degrees do you turn towards the east? You turn 20 degrees towards the east. On your test, you have to be able to write one of them down correctly. You have to choose which one and then do it. All right, let's go from A to C. A to C is straight which direction? West. What bearing is that? 270. And because that's one of the 4 directions, I just write it, west. All right, would you like to move to B or would you like to move to C? Okay, let's move to B. So I'm going to take my compass. Now I have to move right here. B to A is going to be between which 2 degrees? (180 and 270) because I'm headed in the southwest direction. South is 180, west is 270. So I'm between those. So if I'm going from B to A, this line right here, how many degrees do I turn past south? 20 degrees past south, 20 degrees past 180, 200. So that's in the southwest direction. How many degrees did you turn past south in the westerly direction? 20 degrees past south. All right, so now we go B to C. Going to be between which 2 angles? 180 and 270 again, because you're traveling a southwest direction. So this is straight west. How many degrees back of 270 do you go? 42 degrees back of 270, which is 228. Again, that's in the southwest direction. So if I start facing south, how many degrees do I turn to the west? 48. Where's our last spot to move? Move to C. C to A should be nice and easy. 90. Just straight east. C to B should be between which 2 angles? 0 and 90. So you have 2 ways to think about this, and this is a really good point to see whether or not you understand what's going on. I can either move 48 degrees past 0, or I can move 42 degrees back of 90. It doesn't matter which one you do. Either way you end up at 48 degrees. Again, we're traveling the northeast direction. How many degrees did you turn east past north? 48. So here's a nice reason to write out all of them. Big connection time. A to B, B to A. What do you notice about the second 2? They're the same in the middle. Look at the other part, northeast, southwest. Second set, 48 degrees, southwest, northeast. Third set, west, east. See how they're directly opposite? That's because you're going from, say, C to A to C. So if I'm traveling from the podium to the door, and then I want to turn around and travel from the door to the podium, how many degrees did I turn? 180. So everything's different by exactly 180. Look at these right here. 20 to 200, 180. 228 to 48, 180. 270 and 90, 180. So you can see Northeast, southwest, exactly 180. So it's different by a factor of 180. It's a nice way to check to see if you knew what you're doing. Okay? Can you do this? That was an easy problem. We'll try another easy one, then we'll try a difficult one. Okay? Turn to this page. Tear it out. This will be your assignment. We're going to do the first two problems together. You're going to do the last two problems. All right, it says A is directly north of B. So this line right here makes a straight north-south line. And off of that, I'm going to make my grid. Everybody okay with that? Some people said that's all that they could do. Some people walked away and said that's all I could do today. I can't do anything more. Well, if you could do that on a test, I'll give you 1 point out of 6. Okay? So at least you got something. All right? If you can now fill in the angles, I'll give you another point. So 65, so this angle would be 25, 65, 9, 81. Okay? Just use your right triangles. They add to 180. Figure them out. That's all there is to it. Any questions how I got one of those angles? If you notice this 34-degree angle in the middle, 65, 34, and 81 should add up to what? 180. Straight line. And they do add up to 180. All right, so I've got that. I'm going to draw my nice compass. North, east, south, and west. 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, and 270 degrees. That's what they wanted me to write last hour as well, so now I'm doing it because I listened to you. A to B. A to B, what do you think? Straight south, also written as 180. You can write either or. That one or that one. You don't have to provide both on the test. I'm doing them both now so you can see the connection, and you need to know how to interpret it for your assignment because tomorrow we're going to do word problems involving them. All right, B to A. I'm sorry, we're at A, so we're going to go A to C now. A to C, A to C, what to do, what to do, what to do. Between which 2 degrees? 90 and 180. So this is 90, right? So how many degrees past 90? 25. What's 25 past 90? 115. You told me that's in the southeast direction. So if I am facing south, how many degrees do I travel to the east to get to that line? What? 65. Where do you want to go to now? C. All right, let's go to C. Do whatever Preston wants to do. So if I'm going from C to A, it looks like straight north is 0 or 360. How many degrees do you go back of 360? 65, and 360 back, or 65 back of 360 is 295. So C to A is 295. That's in the northwest direction. How many degrees west of north? 65 degrees west of north. Now I'm going to move to, I got to do C to B. C to B. Well, it's going to be easiest if we look south. How many degrees past south? 81 degrees past south will be that line from C to B. So 261. And we just stated it. Southwest, you said 81 degrees west of south was my bearing. Now where? Move to B, B to A. That should be an easy one. 0, which is north. If you want to go B to C, that's in the northeast direction, so you are between 0 and 90. Sure. B to C, you can see that this is straight north, and how many degrees do you turn past 0? 81. Yeah. So 81 degrees, so you could think of it as 81 degrees past 0 or 9 degrees back of 90. Either way, you end up at 81. Which is northeast, 81 degrees to the east. Do you see all the parts there match up? 180 and 0 is different by 180. 81 and 261, 115 and 295, they're all different by 180. And then look at here, south and north, exactly opposite. 81, 81, northeast, southwest, exactly opposite. 65 and 65, southeast and northwest, exactly opposite. It's going to be that way every time. It's a way to check. You should have seen the way I taught this the first time I did it. I mean, it was so bad. And I'm not saying I'm doing an excellent job right now, but it's just interesting to see the questions that you guys have. So, is there a question out there? Is there something you're seeing like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that? Okay, let's try a more difficult one. Maybe the question will come then. This problem right here. We will do it. My apologies for not having better drawings. Maybe next year I'll change that. Okay, so that's our drawing. It kind of looks like A might be straight west of B, doesn't it? But it's not. Okay? I won't give you something on the test that appears that way but really isn't. Okay? So I wouldn't give you a problem like number 2. 3 or 4, totally fair game. If you got a different way of doing it, which some people did last hour, go ahead. This is the best way that I've figured out to teach it, so this is what I'm doing. Are you able to figure out any other angle on those triangles? What to do, what to do, what to do. Yeah, C is 40 degrees from B. So that means if I am at B, I would turn 40 degrees and I would get to C. So if I'm at B, I would turn 40 degrees to get to C. Everybody agree with that? Because it says C is at a 40-degree bearing from B. So if that's 40, what's this? $50. It's gonna make a 90-degree angle because you got your north line and I've got my east line. That makes this 40. 40 and 28 makes 68, so this is going to be 22, 90, 68. So this angle right up here is going to be 70. This little angle right down here is going to be 20. Then we'll figure out my angles. Now I've got them. Where do you want to start? I'm going to start at C. Take my compass. Sit right at C. Let's go C to A. C to A is in the southwest direction. How many degrees behind straight west am I? 22 degrees behind 270. So that'll put me at 248. So C to A is 248. He said it's in the southwest direction. So how many degrees to the west of south am I? So if I'm facing south, what'd you say? 68, because I travel 40 and 28 more will bring me 68 degrees. All right, we got C to A. Let's go C to B. Let's see, this is straight south right here, 180. How many degrees do I turn past south? 4 degrees past 180 is 220. And we said that's south 40 degrees to the west. We said that as we were doing the problem. Cassie, question? Good. Thank you for asking. So anytime you write it like this, you have to start either at south or at north. Since we're in the southwest direction, we write south and west. And starting at south, you can see that you turn from here to there, right? So that's 40 degrees, and another 28 makes 68. That's correct. That middle angle is always going to be between 0 and 90. All right, so where do you want to move now? Quinn, where do you want to move? A to B. We're moving A. Here we are. A to... Whoop, I'm not at A, am I? I'm sitting below A. Kind of messy right there. Okay. Now I'm sitting at A. So let's go A to B. Straight south is 180. How many degrees back of 180 are you? It's hard to see. What is it? 70 degrees back of 180. 70-degree turn right there. That'll bring you to 110. So A to B is 110. And you guys said it's in the southeast and it's 70 degrees to the east. Yes. Yes. Without a doubt. A to C. If I want to go from A to C, I start north. How many degrees do I turn to the east? I turn 68 degrees to get my line from A to C. So that's 68 degrees is A to C. We said northeast, 68 degrees. Just depends on where you turn from. If we would have said 42 degrees back, then that wouldn't have worked out, would it? So it just depends on which angle you're turning from. You could make every single one so it's exactly an angle that you're looking at, but you want to think more about why you're rotating what you are. We'll see if we can make it work out in this example. If you go to B right here, okay? All right. Oh, we didn't finish this off. Should have finished this off. Oh. Okay. Notice that this angle of the triangle is 110 degrees and a portion that's 40. What's going to make that remaining portion right here 70 degrees? We forgot to do that. So now as I bring this back and it's sitting right there, okay? See if this makes sense, Sadie. As we are standing at B and we want to go to A, you can either start at this north line and travel back 70, or you can start at 270 and you can travel forward 20. Either back 70 or forward 20. Either way, it brings you to 290. Now, like I said, you could travel forward 20 or back 70. In this case, back 70 would give you this mark right there. So from north, we turn 70 degrees to the west. And B to C should be real nice because it's in the problem we were given from the very beginning. What's your bearing from B to C? That's in the northeast direction, 40 degrees. You can see that they all do check out. They're off by 180. And so, as you pair them up. So, if you know how to do this, your assignment's pretty easy and you're good to go. If you struggle setting it up, I will help you set up these next two. So if you want to watch, I'm just going to set up these next two. You sure can. So I'm not given north, east, south, or west, or anything like that. I'm just going to draw my triangles in. And the problem says A is at a bearing north 30 degrees east of B. So this is where some people got confused. If I'm standing at A, is B in the northeast direction? No. If I'm standing at B, is A in the northeast direction? Yes. So you're 30 degrees to the east of north. You should be able to generate all the rest of your angles and then do your work. If you look at number 4, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create my grid. It says B is at a bearing southwest 54 degrees of C. So if I'm standing at B, is C to the southwest? C is to the northeast. If I'm standing at C, is B to the southwest? Yeah, it says 54 degrees west of south. So this is a little trickier. It's kind of like the last one. I have to create a south line. When I create that south line, I have 54 degrees then to the west. That has to add up to 80, so this is 26 degrees in there. 54 in this angle, add to 90, so that's 20 or 36. And 26 and that's 64. Now you can figure out the rest. But right now it's time for you to try a couple of these and ask for help. So when I created this north-south line, got it now? That's going to add to 90. Whereas this inside angle just adds to 80. Goodbye, YouTube Nation. Hope you're not confused.